And then we mentioned that it would be nice to have a film that has a purpose,
Yeah.
and it's about ourselves.
You mentioned the cats are developers and dogs are artists.
Yeah.
That was what you said, that I remember. And then like I mentioned something about the idea that it is like a metaphor to use that as a tool to tell our story, like the Blender story and describe what Blender is about.
But it's not a fable anymore.
Not really, no.
The fables have weird.
It's different, yeah. The fable didn't really resonate a lot, like they tried.
Traditional cartoon.
Yeah.
So I invented this whole concept, and that's how it works here. I do something, I say something, and then the rest makes it.
In the past weeks I've been continuously working on the sets, making it animation ready and also ready for further lighting and further detailing. We have a good overview of the cliff sets. I added like more textures, more detail. Also went back to previous.
So
We still haven't.
make sure the camera sensor is a Super 35.
Okay.
Because a 17mm in what you're using, which is maybe default, versus Super 35, it's going to feel different.
Okay.
Yeah,
Is it possible even to do like elements by themselves, just to get the outline? Like if you want to do just the ring with the outline because it was disappearing, if you just take the ring and you just do that pass for that, you can compose it later?
No.
Oh.
Oh god, no. No.
I don't know.
So this is a first episode of Pet Projects, kind of like the pilot episode. Like Pet Projects is about a dog and a cat that need to work together, but they both come from a very different angle. And the idea behind Pet Projects is to convey the relationship between developers and artists here at Blender, and to kind of like make a fun analogy of the conflicts that we have here at work.
We're making a very cartoony movie, and we are experimenting with kind of making it 2D-ish, but it's definitely going to take advantage of the 3D environment and the 3D characters, but the facial expressions are kind of trying to, have that 2D charm, which will make the rigging and shading and all of that problematic. So I hope that, despite being the cause of it, I won't be cursed. I'm really looking forward to the animation test, because that is probably going to blow up the whole visual development process.
And anyways, everything in 2D looks good. The problem is like when you translate it to 3D, look like shit. We are losing our minds already. And we just starting production.
The patch is not on both sides. What are you doing?
What? What do you mean?
He's just a level 1 engineer.
What?
There's only one.
He's the only,
It also
only
needs
one
to be
guy.
bigger.
that looks like.
What? No.
It doesn't look like the cat.
Doesn't your nose and your mouth go like here?
This cat look like us.
I know. Don't
flex
judge
your
this.
nose into
Don't judge the
position.
character design based on the modeling file. That's a grave mistake.
But the dog looks fine.
Yeah, the dog
set the
is also
expectations high.
less ambitious. What?
This cat look like he has a stroke.
It does have a stroke right now. Clearly a cry for help.
Bring that cat to the hospital.
I'm working on the characters, as do a bunch of other people right now. I'm doing the sculpting and testing the character designs, if we can pull this off, what we're going for. We're going for very extreme expressions, very extreme deformations, very cartoony. I felt it was pretty necessary that we try out with just simple sculpts, if this even works, if we can rig this.
That's cool.
Ooh, yes.
I'm working together with Vivian, which was our concept artist, and Rick, the director and creator, on the rocket. And we're deciding the proportions and, well, right now we're talking about the window frame, for instance, like how many support beams it should have, and very small, minute details. But since the rocket is so simple in a way, these elements are very important to nail down. She drew like a beluga in a corset. That's basically how we should taper the rocket, which is an excellent way to communicate what needs to be done.
It's just about tapering the rocket and then flaring back out for the exhaust pipes. It's kind of a metaphor and just, you know, a good reminder, I guess. The ships that Rick has been sketching kind of always felt like a beluga whale to me, which I found very charming. I actually really like how stubby Bo made the ship. I think my sketch was longer, but I actually want to stick with the stubby whale.
There's always interaction with the environment. There's no like talking or acting or some of that, but all of these shots require a version of the asset that is rigged.
So what we do is we set aside the edit push to Kitsu for now. If I need to, I'll talk to Francesco about it on Thursday if he's available. I am French. Yeah, I started as a producer here about a month ago now. So I have this big office that I've tried to get a bit nicer, and I'm working with Francesco on the projects mainly for the open source movies. The idea is that I co-produce it. So as the project already started, I'm slowly but surely taking over those artistic aspects. So it means I work with the team on schedules, I work with the team in everything they need to make sure they have the right tools, the information, the deadlines, onboarding people. So right now it's still a small team. And then making sure that Rick gets the storyboard locked at one point. And yeah, when animation really starts, then it's about making sure that we are on track and we don't lose too much time and we don't spend days just working on the same shots. So yeah, get things moving, making sure everyone is happy and not overworked, and learning how the team is working when I can still have some of Francesco's time. Yeah.
And how's that going so far?
Having some of Francesco's time? It's difficult. He is a hard man to catch because he often is not in his office. So there's often people coming out because the office is just on the other side of the wall. So often people are like, where is Francesco? And I'm like, I don't even know. And when he is in his office, usually he's in a meeting or something. So it's like the door is closed, you can hear him, his Italian accent. So yeah.
How do we get people to animate stuff? So if you look at pets, if you search for pets, if you not share drive, but like just my drive, yeah.
People here, they do a lot of stuff. Like I'm used to working with generalists, but here it's like from concept to lighting, it's the same person, or so it is sometimes a bit confusing for me. Like how do you fit it in? What are you gonna do in 2 months? So I still need a bit of time to adjust to that, to know exactly who I'm speaking to and about what. But as the team is quite small, I'm getting there. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I like colors,
Yeah, I like it too.
Yeah,
Blue and
I do this also. It's nice.
Yeah.
So basically, the first line is what was the previs, and the second line is the reality. So we had 0 animation test, we had 0 layout last week. Yeah. I mean, those are the dogs, right? So
It's true.
is that the... It's true.
Yeah, it's true.
The goal is to make sure that everyone knows what's the main focus of the week and what's the next deadline. So, I help them organize their time, because otherwise they have so much to do, they'll just go in any direction.
We're getting real here. enough about the, you know, kumbaya and hallelujah and.
Who are we sacrificing?
Quality.
It's nothing to laugh about.
It's mostly up to Rick right now to do the boarding and you know, kind of the rough editing, making sure that the story has the foundation that it needs to have and whatnot. Seeing if it can be trimmed down as much as possible. I don't know how much it can be trimmed down at this point, but at least it has like a relatively solid foundation. So for the most part, what I've been doing is kind of helping him out on the sideline whenever he needs, I don't know, like just another set of eyes to look at it. So it's been a little bit like that, just kind of being the guiding hand on the sideline, which hopefully is helpful.
I think that's the right idea. This might be where I say, good job, let's push back a little bit. This was our very first animation review, actually, where we had the team all together in the Kitsu review session. Yeah, so MacBo is an animator that is currently working remote from Wisconsin, and he used to work on Sprite Fright as well. I love when animators show their excitement through their work, basically, where he's kind of like from the get-go trying out funny stuff, and that makes me happy. No, I think half of the team is having holidays. You know, we are now without a rigger, even though we don't have rigs. Well, I do have rigs. I'm talking shit. Let me.
Rick, you mentioned that you like animators that show their the joy of their work, like through their work.
Yes.
Do you have an example of an animator that doesn't do that? Just to give us a contrast. Just some point of reference.
Well, you know this guy, Hjalti, and he's complaining about the rigs, and everything I say right now can be used against me, so I'd rather not say it right now. Anyway, how are you?